Kia ora everyone, Simon from Coastguard. Can you hear me okay down the back? Cool, awesome, all right, that's great. So this is something Coastguard and the team at Sports Fishing put together. We'd gone around a few spots of the country this year. We had a pretty bad run of it, tuna fishing last year. We lost a lot of mates on the water, particularly down at Gisborne, but there were a few other incidents and lots of near misses. So whilst you're getting all the tips of how to go out, catch these big tuna, just a few tips to get you home safe. Mike from Sports Fishing, he's got a massive case of a man flu, so he's not here tonight. So I won't go too much through side of it, but there's a really good series of podcasts put together by the team at Sports Fishing NZ. There's some good info about tuna fishing and also a really good story, well, terrible story that happened, but a well-told story about what happened last year off Gisborne. So if you're stuck in traffic or heading down to Waihau Bay or something like that, chuck that on in the car, wherever you get your podcasts and things. There's also one of our woman in boating, and we've got Sarah down the back. I'm just throwing you under the bus there, Sarah. She's on the podcast as well, so some really good topics on that. So look, I'm going to race through this because I know you want to hear more about the tips from Luke. So a few bits from me. At the end, we'll do a Q&A, so any questions, feel free to ask me there or have a chat to me afterwards. Just to get a bit of a gauge of things, where are we going catching tuna? Most of the guys, have you all been out before? Or just chuck your hand up if you've been out a season before catching tuna. Cool, and just chuck your hand up if you're new to it. Okay, cool, good mix, bit of half and half, so that's cool. I guess boat capability. If you won the raffle at the boat show, awesome. Or if you got yourself a new boat at the show, probably wouldn't just send it straight offshore. You want to be really understanding about what your boat can do, how it can perform. Take it out on some rough conditions close to home. Get yourself understanding how much fuel your boat uses. Make sure everything's serviced if it is an older boat. Good thing with this winter fishery is that time of year when our boats are normally sitting in our driveway as a pot plant gathering leaves. At least we're using them in winter, but if you haven't used it for a while, gremlins get in there, electrical things happen. So make sure everything's in good order. Batteries, fuel, tanks, all that. Give it a good once over. Get it serviced before you head out. You're going to be heading 30, 50 miles offshore, and you need to make sure everything is working its best there. One of the things I've noticed, and I'll just chuck this slide in here about life jackets, is there's a lot of knowledge gap about this. Can I just get a quick show of hands? Who's got an inflatable life jacket on their boat? All right, most of you. Can you keep your hand up if you have serviced it in the last year? That's not too bad. That's better than average, to be fair. So that's probably about 10 out of 80 of you have serviced it in the last year. You can get these from Burnsco, $20, something like that, $30 for one of these canisters. I might just, sorry. If your life jacket looks like this one, so we do a life jacket exchange called All for New, take it around the country each year, and we get a bunch of science experiments, or things that aren't really life jackets, that look like this. It's probably a bit hard in the light there, but this thing is just covered in rust. If your life jacket's looking like that, you got to give it a bit of maintenance. There's a QR code down the back. It takes you through a video of how to service it, but you don't want it rusty like this. You want it nice and good order. Really easy to do. You can service it at home. Just pull it apart. This is a slightly better one. Check your canister. If your canister looks all good, oh, thank you. Yeah, there you go. If your canister looks nice like that, that's a good sign. Unscrew it. You want to look if there's a little dimple. You can weigh them on a scale as well. There's normally about 32 grams, but just double check. There's some numbers on the side. Then leave the canister undone. Come around to the other side. Inflate the life jacket, maybe take some photos of it, how it's packed, inflate it, leave it overnight, and if it's nice and hard in the morning, deflate it and pack it away. And just my final quick show of hands is, who knows how to deflate a life jacket? Cool. Just one of you. I'll give you a little giveaway there, mate. Top of a class there for that one. That's really important. If you get in a bad situation, your boat capsizes and you need to deflate it. Had a guy who capsized off a Patia bar when I was doing one of his seminars down in Taranaki. He had an automatic inflatable jacket, capsized, stuck in the boat. Luckily he'd been out diving, so he had his dive knife, so stabbed his life jacket. That's problem number one solved, right? He's not stuck under the boat with his life jacket, but swam out and thought, oh crap. That's a bit of a bad day. Luckily though, his BCD popped up and he was able to grab onto that. So really easy to do, to deflate it. This thing here, same as your Air New Zealand life jacket, you'll see. You can blow into that to inflate the jacket, but you can also just jam your finger in there and that's going to deflate it. Or you can put that top in there and that's going to deflate it as well. So real quick, once over there, we've got a video online of giving some more information about that, and have a chat to me later on if you want some more tips about it. There's no silver bullet for life jackets, but you guys are going to be heading 30 miles offshore, probably all in trailer boats, so please definitely wear a life jacket, especially as you're transiting out and in, 100% at night. We recommend, wear them all the time. I know some of you might not want to wear them all the time, but these you can leave on all day. So it's not going to ruin your day, and it's there if you need it. Next one that's really important is your PLB. Hopefully most of you on your boat have got an EPIRB like this. That's sitting in a bracket there. Had a guy last year capsize on a Manukau bar. His EPIRB was right arm's reach away from him. Boat capsized, he didn't have time to get this. His biggest learning is that he wished he had one of these types of PLBs. They're about 450 bucks. I mean, you're gonna be dropping, how much fuel are you gonna be dropping on your boat? Way more than one of these is gonna cost. So grab one of these, one for each person, especially going out at night, and have this on you. You can clip it onto your life jacket. If the worst happens, you're not gonna have time to grab all that safety gear, and at least if you get this, if you pull this, you'll be bobbing around in the water for a while, but you'll probably get a helicopter ride. So that's a really good way of calling for help there. Coast Guard membership. If most of you, hopefully if you're members of the club, you've all got Coast Guard memberships as well. One thing I will tell you about Coast Guard membership, if you're 30 to 50 miles offshore, we're not coming to get you. We'd love to, and that's something we'd wish to do, but we're bound by the 12-mile limit. We can get exemptions to go out further afield, but rule of thumb, and if there's a couple of things to take away, is take away that you're on your own when you're out there. So if you, excuse my language, but if you get in a shit out there, you're going to be looking for other boats to help you. We can come and get you, and if it's an emergency, we'll do our best, but technically you're out of our range. That said though, that 12 miles back to shore, it's really good to have a membership, and if you're boating around the Gulf and all that type of thing, so 100% keep your membership. That also helps us keep our funds there to be able to help in a time of emergency. If you want to know a bit more about education as well, one thing I'd really recommend, and I'll talk in a bit more, is our VHF course. So our top one there. Get to know how to use your VHF. It's your one key piece of communication equipment out there. Your cell phone's not going to work unless you got one of these fancy new ones with Starlink. I don't know much about that. That's pretty new tech, only in the last year, so I wouldn't trust it until it's gone through a few seasons. So yeah, closing that section up there. You're on your own out there, so be ready to help a mate out. So first of all, try not to get yourself in the situation where you need help, but you might have a mate out there that needs a hand, or another boat you come across. When you're down there, Luke, Waihau Bay, there's a fair few guys needing a hand, right?
Pretty much every year I've been down there, somebody's had to be towed back in.
Yeah.
And the same thing, because obviously the 12-mile limit, the Coast Guard from Whakatane is coming from Whakatane, not from Waihau.
Yeah.
So they've got a long travel too, so they're out there for a little while. So
yeah.
Pretty much every year I've been down there, I've listened to somebody getting towed back in.
So some of the common things that can help you out: jump pack, having some gear to tow. If it's a day like today, if you're out there on something like this, don't tow a mate's boat in, just leave it. It will blow around somewhere, but you can do way more harm than good and get yourself in a world of trouble. Towing is way more technical than it sounds, and there's some times where, I'm skipper Sarah down the back, she's a skipper as well. There's plenty of times where we would say we wouldn't tow in those conditions. So don't put yourself at risk towing another boat, and get the people off. They've probably got insurance on their boat, and hey, they'll be out shopping for a new boat if the worst happens. But look after people. If you are towing, have a bridle. If you've got 2 cleats, a bridle is the best setup, and then a nice long tow line. The longer the better. Fuel, keep some spare jerry cans. So you don't want to be the one running out of fuel, but it would be nice to give some gas to someone else who's having a bad day. Get to know, we'll talk about this a bit more later on, is get to know how much fuel your boat uses. A couple of ways of doing that. How many litres per nautical mile? So how many litres of fuel you're using per mile or litres per hour. And you want to know that for cruising speed, flat out speed, and then your trolling speed, because that's all going to come into your trip planning when we talk about a rule of thirds. First aid kit as well. You're such a distance offshore, but not only are you so far offshore, as you're a really long way away from a helicopter base, so it's going to take a long time for someone to come out and help. So have that first aid kit there, know how to use it. If you're the skipper, don't be the only one who knows how to use the first aid kit and knows how to use all the safety kit. Make sure somebody else is clued up on it as well. So not trying to scare you, but just a few key tips so you can help a mate out, and hopefully they can help you out if you have a bad day out there. Today is definitely not the day to go boating. Get really focused on your weather forecasting and wind and swell. You're looking for a really solid weather window. This is probably not the weather window you want. You can kind of see from down here that there was good weather, but it's closing in. So what you're wanting is a weather window where the days are going to be better the next day that you're out, or if not the same. Hopefully that it's not a conditions where it's deteriorating. Spoke to the guys from Predict Wind. They came to the training for us at Coastguard. One of their things was fact check, use 2 sets of models. So some like Predict Wind and Windy, they have lots of different models. I would even go a step further. I would check what Windy is saying, check what Met Service is saying. And if they're all telling you the same thing, you've got a slightly better understanding there. On the day that you go out, check the nowcasting. Coastguard's got that on the app. So yeah, there's heaps of, and then if you want to go really into the details, and Luke might talk about this later, is sea surface temperatures, all that type of thing. It all comes into your planning. And that planning, like sort of alluded to already, you really want to know where you're going, how long you're going to be out there for, and how much fuel that you're using. So we have this thing called the rule of thirds, and generally on the Gulf, if you've got a 400 litre tank or a 200 litre tank or whatever on your trailer boat, you don't need to worry too much. But when you're pushing the envelope, you've really got to be clued up on this stuff. So the rule of thirds is a third of fuel for the trip out, third of fuel for the trip back, and a third in reserve. That third in reserve is a third in reserve for if it's chopped up, if the weather's getting worse. It's not a third in reserve for trolling or staying out there slightly longer because the fish aren't biting. That's not what the reserve is for. It's just for getting you out of trouble. So factor in your trolling time, all that type of thing into your account. Make sure somebody else knows how to use your GPS. So that's that kind of theme, is don't be the only one who knows how to push all the buttons and do all the levers on your boat. Have someone else there. Luke might go into this a bit more, but yeah, a few things with local bylaws. This isn't the boat that made that mess, by the way, but why, how, you go into this a bit more?
That is the boat that made the mess.
Oh, it is the boat that made the mess? Oh, okay, name and shame.
You don't do that.
Yeah, like you get pretty messy. You drain a lot of blood and stuff on the ramp, and that's not cool for the locals down there. Yeah, don't park like a dick. Know what the etiquette is on the ramp, things like that. Local VHF channels. Yeah, where to get ice, where to get gas from, all that type of stuff. And I'm sure Luke will go into that a bit more. But the main thing is local bylaws is different. So there's a Marine Mate app you can get that information from. So yeah, check that out as well. So all this is homework you can do when you're supposed to be at work or your day working from home. Yeah. Yeah, so do your homework before you head down. I'm guessing most of us going Waihau Bay. Whakatane is probably where we're looking at for boating. For those that are going a bit further afield, if anyone was heading down to the west coast, I know there are a few boats from Auckland. I even had a guy from Gisborne going down to the west coast, is don't become the fish of the day. I think it was a 7-ish metre Staby craft about a year ago. Got himself caught up in a trawler, factory trawler's net. These things go out 300 metres or so astern of it. And I think even a few years before that, there were guys trying to like spearfish. The tuna have learned that there's a really good meal around these hokey trawlers, which is awesome. Like it's easy fish for us to catch, but don't go directly behind it. Maritime New Zealand's got some information on their website about it as well, how to stay clear and work around the fishing fleet. We've got their radios on, so you can talk to them there as well. But yeah, stay well clear of them when they're hauling their nets up. I'm sure you'll get a pretty frosty reception if you ruin their days fishing. They'll pull you out, but yeah, I don't think they'll be that happy that you're there. So let someone know your plans. That might be, hey, you're going away for a few days fishing. You need to be a bit more detailed than that. You can let Coast Guard know through the app. If you've got the app on your phone, it's got the nowcasting, weather forecast, all that type of thing. App's really good. If you say that you're going to be back at 5 o'clock, what it will do is it gets to 5, it sends a notification to you. If you don't close it off a certain time after that, then it will activate and tell you that you're next to kin, that, hey, are you out? You got any issues, give Coast Guard a call. So it's a bit of a database for us as well. You can save your fishing spots and we'll sell that data. No, I'm just joking. VHF Basics, again, Luke will go and talk about Waihau Bay and things, what it's like out there, but a little bit of etiquette on the radio. Channel 16 is not for chit-chat. Channel 16 is the channel you call if you're having a bad day, and that could be for anything from you're out of gas, you need a flat battery, things like that. You can move on to channel 6 or channel 8 to chit-chat between your boats. That's a ship-to-ship channel, so that goes from your antenna to another antenna. And yeah, again, make sure somebody else knows how to use the radio. You can do a course. Cell phones aren't that good. Don't know what's happening with Starlink yet, so don't rely on that. You also hear about these Garmin inReaches. People are pretty keen on those. I haven't used them too much, but they seem like a pretty good tech. But VHF broadcasts your problem to everybody out on the water. So it's a one-to-many rather than a one-to-one communication. Just seeing how we're doing for time. I'm just going to skip through this, but talk to me later on if you want any tips about boat handling, but just a couple little things. We think about trim of our boat as just trimming it for fuel efficiency. If it's a nice day, that's fine. But if it's rough day like today and you're punching into it, trim it down a bit. It's going to keep your engine in the water and in control. So then you don't end up like these guys. They're going to run out of mates to go fishing if you keep flying over waves like that. You're going to break stuff, break your mates. Things like that. I'll skip through that. Like the reverse is the same in a following sea. Trim the engine up a little bit so it keeps your bow popped up. And if you are in really rough seas and you're in a following sea, try and sit on the back of a wave. It's going to feel like you're driving up a hill. That's going to be the best thing that you can do. Don't get up here on the face of a wave, sit on the back of it on the way in. Worst case scenario, this happens and we start broaching. So stay on the back of a wave as much as you can. Hopefully you've done all your homework and you're not out on a day like this. Couple safety tips. Give everyone Air New Zealand safety briefing, a toolbox talk when before you're heading out, where all the safety gear is, how to use it, all that type of thing. If you're going out at night, definitely life jackets. Make sure you carry a torch on you so you can raise the alarm. PLB, and don't be on the back deck at night. If you're going to the bathroom, use the toilet inside the boat. Don't piss off the back of the boat if you're a guy. And yeah, definitely wear your life jacket. That's one thing Coast Guard's really big on. So please do that if you can. And yeah, talk to me a bit more about bar crossing tips. If you're going to Whakatane, definitely call us before and after the bar crossing. Take your time to assess the waves. Make sure that big tuna that you've caught is nice and secure, because you don't want that busting free. That's going to probably capsize your boat if it gets off its centre of gravity. So everything's nice and secure. 100% life jackets on when you're doing this. And yeah, like I said about those positioning on the waves, and you brief the crew. And if you are getting a bit light on gas, change your tanks over or top the tanks up before you head over the bar because you're going to be surging around quite a bit. But call Coast Guard before you do that, and definitely life jackets on. And if you've done all that, done your toolbox talk, discussed an emergency plan, then you should be good if the worst happens. If the worst happens, you've got a life jacket on, you've got a locator beacon, called us on the radio, we're coming to get you, something's coming to find you. If you can take the search out of search and rescue, then you're going to be back home much faster. If you can, stay together, stay with the boat. If it ends up upside down, it's much easier for us to find a boat than find a bunch of people by themselves. If you are out in the deep water, take a sea anchor, so then you're not going to be drifting as far. And then, yeah, just remember, have somebody else on boat who can look after you if you get into trouble. So if you have a medical thing that happens to yourself, who's going to take the boat home? So it's not just you.